I'm really excited that today we have with us Tay, or Blitzy, as we all refer to him. Burning Man was what ignited his passion for immersive art, and in 2022 he received an honorarium for a project called the Afterlife. His whimsical, kinetic, and flame-filled works now light up events across the Bay Area. And Blitzy's art draws from his Malay-Chinese roots and uplifts queer and people of color perspectives, infusing spirit, color, and inclusivity into every creation. So I'm really excited to have you here today, Blitzy. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's watch your video, and then I want to chat with you a little bit more about the project and about you and your inspiration. So
sounds good.
Let's go ahead and screen the video.
Yo, I'm Blitzy, or some people call me Aid. I'm the lead artist of Afterlife and Afterlife Reincarnate. The Afterlife is an artist collective of various Bay Area artists coming together to create some amazing big art on playa. The seed of the Afterlife was planted more than a decade ago. It was 2011, my first burn. I walked out to the Esplanade and the open playa, and I'm like, my jaw just dropped. And I vowed to someday make big art out there. When we first brought the first iteration of Afterlife in 2022, we had about 33 crew members. We were building here in San Francisco for over 9 months. It took 10 days for us to build on a playa, and it's one of the worst desert conditions with high winds and whiteouts. But the team came together and delivered. And it's so gratifying to be able to culminate all of our experiences and our skills in gifting something as magnificent as a sacred space, if you will, to our netizens and city dwellers of Black Rock City. And it's an honor to bring it back again this time. So Afterlife has got many lives, apparently. Afterlife Reincarnate is what we're going to bring to the playa this year. The Afterlife is an interactive black light art on playa. Of course, with color and beauty and movement and kinetic art, it evokes this lively presence on playa. And that's what we try to create, just beyond aesthetics. Try to inject some spiritual meaning into the art. The art itself is basically, if you look from an aerial point of view, a Tibetan mandala with various pieces that represents shrines and stupas and temples and pagodas, and the chance to represent some of that ancient knowledge and culture. So for example, this year, the art represents the ruined temples of Angkor and Borobudur in Cambodia and Indonesia. And some Minangkabau and Thai influences and Japanese influences in the structure and aesthetics. It's quite a huge undertaking to create big art on playa. The logistics, the fabrication, the transportation, and building them on playa and taking it down in a matter of like a week, just over a week. I can never do this alone. I'm so indebted to my dream crew, who comes from all backgrounds. In fact, some of our crew come from different states, including Colorado and Florida, different countries, from Denmark to Portugal. But they bring such rich knowledge and understanding from electrical engineering as to how we distribute our power, to rigging and how we do our aerial work for hanging some fire-breathing dragons and fabric clouds, to builders, carpenters, logistics, cameraman behind this video helps us create something that none of us could achieve by ourselves. So thank you, Afterlife crew.
That was so great. You have such beautiful footage of that project, and it really created a sense of space and place that was beautiful.
It's also shaped in a way that if you look at it from an aerial point of view, a Tibetan mandala with the 4 gates of the universe, representing the 4 gates that you enter. And the belief is that if you walk from one shrine and stupas to another is basically a spiritual journey of our lives. And the whole Tibetan mandala, when they make sand mandala with all the colors, is also the impermanence of it. Because at the end of the day, they just wipe it all out.
Yeah,
it's also symbolism of like how impermanent life is in general. You know?
So tell us more about what will be different in the 2025 iteration with the Afterlife Reincarnate from what we had in 2022.
So it's still based on the Tibetan mandala, but the aesthetics and the geometric representation of it will be slightly different. It's definitely the last time it was a circular installation. This time it's a square, and it definitely goes higher. It goes up to 35 feet, and the fact that various artists contributed their pieces to cohesively, come together and create a bigger than life installation that none of us could do it ourselves.
Growing up in Malaysia, were you raised in a particular religious tradition?
I was exposed to Taoism, Buddhism, and a little bit of Christianity as well in growing up. And Malaysia is also predominantly Muslim, and it's like Islamic. And you can see a lot of that design in the elements. There's like the Islamic patterns in there. And the best part about Afterlife is like, no one really knows what's after death. So it's an endless possibility of what you could create. You know, I mean, like.
Where did your interest in death or the afterlife come from?
I've personally had a few, deep spiritual experiences with, life after death and out-of-body experiences and journeys with psychedelic medicines and all that. And it sort of gravitated me towards exploring what that is. Death is such a heavy, dark subject, if you will, But I kind of see it differently, I mean, like death, and some cultures do that as well. You see that in the Mesoamerican cultures as well, especially in Mexican cultures, and they celebrate. So it can be bright and colorful. It can be a beginning instead of an end.
Kudos to you for finding a way that, like whatever people have in them that they're bringing to it at that time, they can be like that and explore it.
Yeah, and I think that's the joy of collaborative art. I tend to choose the road less traveled.
Yeah,
let's put that way. And it's been quite a journey.
Well, I'm so glad that our journeys have intersected, and that I'm really grateful for you and the community that you've formed around you and the amazing work that you bring to Black Rock City. So thank you so much. It's really nice to talk with you more today.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate your coming.
Pleasure myself too.
Yeah, thanks so much.